headed by missile. Watch me do it like the Pointer Sisters. Slip arsenic in your corn liquor. Two bigger L's than the Aubrey nigga. From Pappy Mason to Pastor Mason, the church is vacant. I'm preaching with Bobby, trapped in the basement. I'm laughing, just imagine the Sleepy Beauty hurt me. Is Porn Bizzle, and then to the left of me is Sick Cuz the Governor. Jambo 1 is not with us today. I don't know where he's at, but he's in our thoughts and prayers. But I'm a little bit under the weather today. You know what I'm saying? I've been basically in my room all day. You know what I'm saying? Throwing up phlegm and stuff like that. But for some reason, I did have a good week today, and I want to celebrate. Well, I don't want to celebrate, but I just want you to know how good I feel.
It's a celebration. Everybody sing. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Gotta feel good, fella. It was an interesting week this week. For some people, justice has been served. For some people, they're mourning. Me, I don't celebrate, nor do I mourn, right? The shooting of Charlie Kirk. And that wasn't a celebration song. That was just me, for the YouTubers. That was just me feeling good because I've been under the weather. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be in the land of the living. You feel what I'm saying? So
Starting to feel
there's a
better.
little bit of phlegm in my throat, but I'm not holding my neck, so that's how that is. Let's get to it, man. Charlie Kirk dead at 31. I'm gonna play some rhetoric, some of his quotes. And y'all guys tell me what y'all think. Hold on. 1 second. All right.
Deal. It is rational. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. I think it's worth to have a cost. In fact, I even think that we should bring back, public executions on certain people. No, but think about it. I think that, and you guys should laugh, it should be public, it should be quick, it should be televised.
Exactly.
Wait.
It was televised. It was quick. And what else he said? I don't remember. Should be televised. It should be quick. So I think old Charlie is as they say, a product of his own environment. So what's interesting to me, you have this guy that was spewing a lot of rhetoric. You got the right to your own opinion, freedom of speech, right? But that come with a cost. He said things about black people in general. Say that we were not as smart. He said things about Dr. Martin Luther King where he doesn't deserve a holiday or the stature he has. And it's all hypocritical to me because this is the same guy that's, rubbing elbows with Trump. You get what I'm saying? He said if it was a black pilot and he was on a plane, he would question the ability of the black pilot. It's funny how he had a lot of things to say about black folk, other minorities, but he never had anything to say about his own people. And the irony of it is, excuse me, I'm under the weather, it was his own people that gunned him down. He was gunned down by his own people. And I'm kind of at odds with the black folk who says, well, we should be sensitive, have some empathy for this man. When he clearly, and I can look it up for you, he's clearly on record saying, people who have, and excuse me, I'm not quoting exactly, but he said, empathy is for the weak. Why have empathy? You get what I'm saying? So if a person is his core belief is why have empathy, why should people be mad if that's his beliefs? I'm sure he would have wanted that way for people not to feel sad, sorry for him. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of layers to peel back. Um, Gov, what you think about it? And one more thing, guys, what do you think about they, them catching a white shooter, a lead shooter? I'm sorry, but black colleges has been on, you know, has been on watch for death threats. That's that's uh that's terrorism to me. I don't know if anybody, somebody can look up the term terrorism, but that's a form of terrorism, So, God, what you think, man? And I'll come back around to myself and give you my final thoughts.
Well, I think the issue isn't necessarily. I think it's a problem to have. I don't have a problem with anybody expressing any type of opinion, whether I agree with it or disagree. You know what I mean? Because I think that's a part of this whole country. What makes it. With the whole 10 Amendments and everything, and kind of what made certain innovations and things like that work. If people can't freely express, that's the only problem I have. I don't mourn, like you said earlier, mourn or celebrate. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the only thing that I had an issue with is it's his opinion today that got him killed. You know what I mean? So when does it turn into our opinions and everybody else's opinion? You know what I mean? Because that shouldn't be what the United States is supposed to be about. You know what I mean? So the point that now we got to the point where we publicly celebrated when the CEO got killed. You know what I mean? We publicly celebrate when these different ones that have different opinions than us get killed, even though they weren't out killing. You see what I'm saying? So now it's got to the point now that when does the tables turn and then we say things have gone too far? Do we stop it before it keeps going or do we just keep going with it? Because it's going to turn into a thing where it's no longer a free society. It's going to turn into another dictatorial place where you be in a place where if you're not speaking what the majority says is the opinion to have, you deserve to die. That's not really the place that you want to live at. You know what I mean? Because then you don't get that free expression of ideas. You can't fix because nobody owns the full 100% truth. You know what I mean? Nobody owns all the knowledge. Nobody owns all of anything. But meanwhile, we want to put everything must be in one basket or another. That's crazy. You know what I mean? That's madness. And as soon as we get into the point where we just get to that, you got to be either team A or team B. You can't pick and choose out of what you know what I mean? Because everybody doesn't know everything. So as soon as we get to that point, I think we pretty much lost at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I agree. I think that's the thing of I get it from two perspectives, right? When you see, especially I'm talking about more specifically African Americans, over the time we've seen so many of our leaders, not just our leaders, but our grandmas, our grandfathers get killed, get humiliated. You see some of the pictures of our ancestors, our people getting sprayed with water holes like they're dogs and stuff like that. So when you see these people like Charlie Kirk and other likeness similar to him, and they talk about these situations. Sometimes they make fun of these situations, or they approach these situations from a different way. Um, I see why certain people have the whole lack of sympathy part. Now, here's the other side of it, right? Going back to what you said, a lot of people are really only celebrating this man's death because a lot of people have hatred in their heart for other things already. A lot of people don't really care about Charlie Kirk. Never watched a video about any. Never watched a Malcolm X video or listened to a lecture of his in their life. A lot of people don't know that they're concerned with their own lives. But we, as American society, we became so so hateful, so ready for the smoke at any point given in time that if somebody dies, we don't know. We're not on either side. We just want to be on the side where we can just make fun of somebody death. We want to be a part of something. We want drama. You know what I mean? We love the drama. We love the excitement it gives us because our lives similar. In and whoever's listening to this and this relates to them and they get upset about it, I'm talking about you. Some of our lives are unpurposeful. So hate is the only thing that brings purpose to our lives. Some of our lives are very unpurposeful, and that hate that brings purpose to our lives.
Don't you think that his hate begotten hate, the energy he put out there, was the same energy that was reciprocated to him?
Well,
Don't you? Don't I mean? Come on, let's
But you
keep it
gotta,
real.
but see, those are like, that's like, I don't know, because I heard that he did long form debates. I don't know. I never watched them, you know what I mean, to really know. Because it sounds like I thought, I mean, if you had a whole lot, because I mean, here's the crazy thing about it. Before he dies, right? I never really heard about him. You know what I mean? I never really. I may have seen. I've seen a clip. I've
Me
seen his
neither. Me
face
neither.
before.
I
I've
haven't heard
seen his
about him neither.
face. Like I've
yeah.
seen his face. You know, sometimes I've seen it like in passing, but I've never paid him any mind. You know what I mean? So then all of a sudden, like a lot of the vitriol that shows up after the fact, like as if all of a sudden he became black man's number one enemy. He was always our number one. That's kind of like what the reaction is. But then I also can kind of see like it's hints of a lot of it's political because he was really behind because he was like one of the big Trump supporters at the time too. So it's a lot of the vitriol because he was a Trump guy and it's like political. Are we looking at the beginnings of the formations of the way we're gonna do like political gangs now? Because you know that's what the question. You know what I mean? Is this what we're looking at, and is this the way we're gonna go? Because if that's the case, then the whole idea that a regular person could go run for any type of office, you might as well throw that out the window. You need to have a militia behind you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what made him dangerous was the fact that he did have people in high places that thought and agreed with his ideologies. Judges, people in the White House, lawmakers that agreed, and they didn't work in our favor.
Right.
They didn't work in a lot of people's favor. So that made it dangerous. Now, do I believe that he should have got his head sniped off? That's his destiny. I
But
mean,
here's
that's
the thing.
between him
But
and his creator. You know what
here's
I'm saying? I
here's the
mean,
thing. But here's the thing, though. People that had an opposite opinion of him, right? They also have people in high places as well. Do they just should that be? Is this what the recourse should be? That's my question to the whole.
yeah, because you got to think about it
Because
like
if you
this.
got think about it, if you got people that like he was a guy that seemed like he was against the left side of things, right? So
Yeah,
there's people that's out that's prominent that's against the right side of things and say they not in power, right? They not in the white. Now imagine you get a Democrat back in the White House again, right? And they controlling, Washington and everything like that. Should the recourse be that the right now should also now have their snipers trained against people that's like the political activist type, the influencer types? Is that the way we need to be going? That's the question I'm asking.
no. But see, here's my thing. I'm not left or right.
That's what I was,
Yeah,
me neither.
yeah.
That's
I'm
what I'm
not even in the
saying.
middle.
Here's the problem I have, but you know what I mean? Think about it. We both got people. I know I got people in my family that's strong left, strong right. You know what I mean? Sometimes. So imagine one of them turns into they like these little talking head types. You know what I'm saying? Should that is you know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about from that aspect of things.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to spark any any um any any type of
Because this is
political warfare.
I mean,
But
isn't this the same? Isn't this the same playbook? Dude almost got shot last year from a dude on the roof while he was talking. You know what I mean?
mhm,
It's
it
like the
was
same playbook. We catching this. We starting to see like a trend, like a pattern. We're starting to see that there's a pattern going on.
but this is what my belief.
Uh-huh.
I believe that black people should stay out of it.
Of
I believe
course,
that
and that's
let them snipe each other off.
right. And
Um,
you know what's funny?
since World War II,
Mm-hmm.
we know in history that's one of the biggest times where European countries were like killing each other.
Right.
And
Who do they send to the front lines?
yeah, sit back and watch the fireworks. I
But
think
check
black
this
people
out.
should stay out of it.
That's why I think it was slick the way that the whole thing happened. All of a sudden, death threats go to the HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
didn't even happen at an HBCU. This out in Utah,
Yeah, well,
one of the whitest states of the country.
majority of the folk there, but I just think that the folk, a lot of them just want to find reasons to be angry with black people, and the reason why I say that I didn't know Charlie Kirk at all. I'm not.
But wasn't he affiliated with Kanye?
I don't have any knowledge of him. This has
Yeah.
just been brought to my attention a few days ago. So I've been having like a little crash course mainly on just watching YouTube channels, right?
Okay.
But yeah, watching YouTube channels. Sorry, but a lot of his policies I disagree with, and
Mm,
a lot of his views on life. How it's funny how he could have disregard for the children in Palestine, disregard for Philando Castile and our brother George Floyd,
right.
and disregard. That's my that's my gripe with him. That's my little thing with him. You get what I'm saying? I don't know
Right.
all his political views. I'm
Right.
sure that he probably has some that I agree with, and he probably has some that that I disagree with. And I will admit a lot of things that I didn't looked at last few days were cherry picked.
Right.
Hatred towards black folk, hatred towards Palestinians, hatred towards Muslims, hatred towards this group and that group. You get
Mm,
what I'm saying? So I had to take a back, take a breather, step back, and say, okay, these cherry picked. Yeah, this is clearly him, right? But does he still deserve to be sniped off? That's the question. But I want to ask you guys something. What do you think is cooning for? There's a lot of YouTubers out there, and I'm not gonna name their names. Failing on their channels, but and I know they coons because I've been watching their channels for a while, and they got every bad thing to say about their own kind and nothing bad to say about anyone else. And when their young girl made the national news in Maryland was killed, no one said a prayer, no one cried, no one gave a damn. But when the white savior come on his horse and he, unfortunately, what happened to him, everybody went to boo-hoo and cried and say, y'all need to have some empathy when he clearly did not have empathy for anyone else. You think if you or I would have died, and the people I just mentioned from police brutality, you think he had empathy for them? No. If anything, he basically was like, there should be laws where more die. I think he's on record saying one or two it should be one or two people shot a year. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, I don't know Charlie Kirk like that, but the little bit that I know of, he didn't have empathy for people. And I think that people, that are black who happen to be crying and wailing over this man. I just think that they have a propaganda, and I think that they've been paid by a certain agency or they trying to cater to a certain group of people because that's where the money at. But I'm talking to you guys out there. The minute you slip up and disagree with those folk, they're gonna turn on you. They're gonna turn on you faster than the Ferris wheel, and they're gonna give you your ninja wake up call. As simple as that. So do I agree with people dancing over his grave, celebrating the street? No, because here's the hypocrisy with it, Gov, and Wizzle, you can agree. We didn't like it when it was done to us. When they had pictures of, and I seen this online today. I didn't even know this exists. I seen pictures of the George Floyd challenge when they was white people putting their knees on on somebody's neck. The George Floyd challenge, right? We were outraged.
Yeah.
White folk didn't have empathy for that. But when it happens to them, they want everybody to. When
But
bad things happen to them, they want the world to feel their pain.
see, I think the something that's lost in this is how we generalizing it so much. You know what I mean? Because it's a split that's going on that's beyond white and black. A lot of this had to do with left and right too. You know what I mean? Also, another thing is a lot of the people that's out there. Some people is like fans of this guy, and as a fan of something, anytime when you're a fan of something or someone and it dies or it goes away, there's a sadness that happens with it. So I understand they tears and everything, but I'm not going to be smirked because I don't even know the dude to even have much of an opinion on him. You know what I mean? But
I will say from what I've heard, and because I knew of him like since 2023, I wasn't so into his. I had my phase where I was like, especially near to like the Palestine situation. I had my phase where I was into like into the political scene heavy. And I was watching those videos and the debates and everything like that. I would say to give him his credit on one, I would say he's one of those people that did was open to a challenge. He wasn't just like ignorantly like a lot of channels, a lot of people do rage bait people and stuff. He was actually like, like for religions, they have like speakers corner and stuff like that. He was actually trying to have people challenge his beliefs. One, even though there was no one really on, like I said, that had more knowledge on the same playing field as him, but at least he put it out there
Hey,
for people to challenge his like beliefs and everything like that.
I seen a
But
couple clips where he actually got cooked in debates.
oh well, no, well, this ain't it from my experience from like when I watch, but I'm saying he's never pit anyone. Of course, that's not what they're going to do. But the point is, though, I feel like um like Gov said, it's a major pattern. When you've been looking, let's just not only just with on the political field when Hulk Hogan died, right? People celebrating Hulk Hogan's passing and everything like that. It's just feel like they're taking L after L after loss after loss after loss. So when it comes up to it and the whole world is watching this and the whole world's kind of watching white men of America, having their downfall and not just really by anybody else, their own kind, really, um, is more of an embarrassing fact. So they have to take that anger.
That crowd is real.
Yeah, so it's proving them wrong because one of the more strongman arguments they always had was the black on black crime. You know what I mean? So now that is things are turning around in full circle, it's a little embarrassing. So they gotta pit the whole, they gotta have okay, we need an enemy, even though that white guy was clearly one that sniped him off, and
Allegedly,
allegedly we gotta make the HBCU as a target anyway. It doesn't matter because we need enemy. We need somebody we can put the blame on. It's
yeah,
not. It's not gonna be fun for us to put the blame on one of our own because it's gonna make us look bad. Even though if that person was a Democrat, liberal, they had the LGBT flag on their jeans to their face tattooed on their arm. They don't care as long as he's white. They need to make somebody else that doesn't look like him the enemy because that's the
right.
whole narrative. It's a thing of
They heard
hatred.
they say, yeah, it's a man in a black shirt. Black, get him.
and it's my thing. Again, it goes back to I play on the side where I'm not celebrating and I'm not, and I don't feel, any type of sadness from it, right? But however, that goes back to I think I asked you guys this question. I don't think I got a response.
Mm,
What do you think about the black people that's on there wailing and crying and sandboing?
That's what I
Because clearly, you know, the people that his hue or his color don't care nothing about you.
it wasn't. I don't think it was a color thing. I think that was more like a left versus right thing. You know what I mean? And I think the people is on the channels. I think they on the right with him anyway. You know what I mean? I'm talking about politics wise, right and left. So I think those are like his fanboys in a way. You know what I mean? So of course they go on more, and they was like the sidekicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me, in the words of Willie D, man, it's always a racial thing.
I get that, but I don't think you missing my point. I'm talking about there's black conservatives and black liberals, right?
You froze up.
There's black conservatives and black liberals, right?
I got you.
So right, so they might have been black conservatives along with him being conservative. They might have been in that club, that gang, whatever you want to call it. That was his, that was, you know what I mean? Those
But
his.
what I'm saying is this guy from what the little bit that and again it's cherry picking what I was researching. Little things I came across online with cherry picking, right? But again, this man have said some white supremacist comments, and as a
Right.
black man,
But they might be on the same.
regardless of what side you play,
But I think you missing what I'm talking about. There's like a lot of black people that's on there saying them same type of things. You know what I mean? Talking about what's up with this whole bonnet culture and you know what I mean, this and that they always got the criticisms. You know what I mean? Those are the same ones that I'm talking about. Those are like his rolling partners.
yeah, I know that. I know that.
So
But
given that, so since they spew the same thing, I understand that they looking at him like they brother. You know what I mean? In a way, that's why I understand why they mourning. But I'm not one of the same. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
understand people of a certain opinion, and they all agree with their same opinion. And you lose one of your folks of your same opinion, you're gonna be down because of that.
I get it. I think it's Conan, man. I mean, you got a lot of people that like Hitler.
Of course,
That's
but,
black.
but that's their thing, though. That
But
might
it,
be their thing. That's their little club. Like some people that play Magic the Gathering. You know what I mean? No
you
offense,
know,
but
no,
they in their own little club. You know what I mean? They do their thing, and that's them. And they weird to us, but to them that's perfectly normal, and they love that. They stay standing there and fighting in the kitchen tables and all the rest. So
mm,
Mm. I mean, is I feel like now here where it gets personal with me, right?
mm,
I'm not gonna okay. I know the channels he's referring to, right? And like I said, just for future purposes, I'm not gonna mention one of these channels, but I might just anyway, right? The
certain channels.
like no, because like I guess the Cartier family, right?
mm,
That's personal channel. Like I used to watch their reaction videos and stuff like that. I've seen them 2018, no 2020 when the George Floyd incident happened. They were out there, Black Lives Matter, right?
What they say about George Floyd?
Here's the thing: a lot of people complain about them because it's a sudden shift in heart. It's a sudden
mm.
shift in opinion, and it's not that like Gov said, it's not that okay.
Oh,
There's a right, there's a left. They have their opinions, right? They
right,
have okay. It's not about just race, really, right? It's about color and opinions. But with these YouTube channels, is a pain, especially with these African American YouTube channels, is usually a thing of let me rage bait you. I really want to pit hate in my own community because it's getting money for it, and I know these right wing people are gonna fall for it, and they like having the well, my black friend agrees type YouTube channel. You know what I mean? So yeah, so
Steve Smith.
yeah.
Well, when something happened to us, he don't say nothing.
That's the same thing that pisses me off, right? Someone can pass away, whether they were a positive black figure, whether they were an artist, or whether they were whoever,
Real quick,
regardless, they were
they
ignorant.
had loved ones too. They had people
Yeah.
about them too.
And
yeah,
see, and the thing when they pass away is either they don't mention it, or if there's some type of talking point that they can kind of
negative
like
point.
manipulate, yeah, they'll try to kind of seep through
You
and be
know,
like, well, this happened. That's the reason why he died. So
right?
they try to rail their
Yeah, they're
people in.
telling
So
their
those are
name
their
all the way
people.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not like when it comes to the people, the real people, like the real African Americans that just genuinely have their opinion about, okay, I support Trump because of this reasons, but I still love my people. I'm not talking about those people. If you like Charlie Kirk, that's like if we like a political figure, even though we don't agree with most of the stuff he said and we can understand why, right?
mm,
Hey, that's him, right? Take your time to grieve and mourn. But at the end of the day, there's people out here, a lot of YouTube channels out here, African Americans that make money, thousands of dollars for picking, for cherry picking, for
yeah,
pick. You saw how Pop said he don't want to cherry. Yeah, you guys. You see how he said he don't want to cherry pick, and he had to kind of think and try to look back. A lot their whole channel is based on not doing it. It's not like they're stupid or it's not that they're idiots. They're very smart. They know what they're doing. It's just that okay, I'm gonna mourn and cry when Charlie Kirk dies. But if someone of the same stature, someone with the same popularity does what he does, he
right.
died. There's a reason
Yeah,
why he died.
yeah.
He just died, or they don't mention it at all. They
Right.
avoid it completely because their whole channels, their whole niche, their whole niche
Yeah,
is to do this. So I think he's talking about those people.
yeah.
That yeah, I could.
I'm interested to see when the minister go.
Damn, I was thinking
how
about that.
how people gonna react to that.
Think about that. I was
I'm
thinking about
very interested to see how these black channels
yeah.
are going to react to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to see that. You know, that's all. But shout out to
It's the same thing. If you it's like the whole concept and you get what you're gonna give. You know what I mean? I don't like this whole back and forth where we're gonna celebrate and dance on the folks we hate. You know what I mean? Because of that, just because of that. And I understand that if they came out there and was committing atrocities, that's a different thing. You know what I mean? Somebody come out there, they ran up in somebody's house and the women and the children, blah blah. You know what I mean? They deserve what they get. You know what I mean? Then you could, yeah, I'm glad y'all got him. You know what I mean? Y'all supposed to do that. But I don't
yeah,
know.
but here's the thing though. It's an old saying that words hurt.
Yeah,
Words are powerful, bro. A
right, but
lot of a lot of movements was based off of word.
yeah,
Like
but you got
the conquering of this land was based off of thought and the word. Let's go explore and conquer.
well
So
that
words are very powerful. I
could
get what you're saying. Some words don't deserve a reaction of violence. However, certain people could be triggered and you can spark the wrong mind and you can birth like an Adolf Hitler. You can birth like certain figures, Netanyahu or something like that, that will, knowing his words bring violence and turmoil, but he's people willing to go out and kill. So words are very powerful, man, and I think Mr. Charlie Kirk realized that now that it's an old saying that yeah, you have freedom of speech, but you can't tell people how to react.
right.
Just can't. And I
Right.
want to before we go into the second subject, I was just looking. It was a big number. I forgot the number, but the weapon that killed Trayvon Martin was on auction for a lot of money. I wonder if they're gonna do the same thing with the weapon for Charlie Kirk. I'm interested because that's a historical figure, right? I think that should be in the auction too.
That's different though.
Ain't it fair?
I confiscated that one.
Yeah,
Did they confiscate Zimmerman's gun?
I'm not sure. Probably have. I'm not sure.
That might have been different because I think they acquitted him, so he might have kept his, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I kept his own firearm and everything. So, and then later on, he sold it.
yeah. What do you think, real quick? What do you think about this? Trump is thinking about building a statue in his man honor.
Man, he's always doing something. when he supposed to build a big ballroom or something like that, and
He's supposed to build a resort on Gaza, man.
he
Swimming
want to
pools,
do
all
all
the
things. They were
enemies.
saying all that, but they say a lot of things.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk, he's gone.
I mean, he's not
We pray for peace. We pray for resolution, and hopefully, his wife and kids will never get over it. Just like Malcolm's children did not get over what happened with their father
right.
many, many years ago. Let's move on to the next topic. The train execution or stabbing, if you will.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump is saying that he's calling for the death penalty.
Shut up.
The volcano from out Iceland, they come to take over the rap game like the white man. Iller than Hitler, photobomb at Yahoo, red bomb missile. Watch me do it like the Pointer Sisters. Slip arsenic in your corn liquor. Two bigger L's than the Aubrey nigga. From Pappy Mason to Pastor Mason, the church is vacant. I'm preaching with Bobby, trapped in the basement. I'm laughing, just imagine the Sleepy Beauty had herpes.